part of the problem with that relationship is what a crummy job Pakistan has done sealing off the border, stopping people from going into Afghanistan.
Right. They have no interest in doing that. They very much would like to see the Taliban come back to power. And the Taliban is not Al-Qaeda. The Taliban, from Pakistan's point of view, ran a Pakistan-friendly, stable government in Afghanistan. They were not out killing people. They were sheltering Al-Qaeda, sure. But they themselves were not doing it, that sort of thing. Now they've now changed. They've now adopted Al-Qaeda techniques and so forth. But I think it's not impossible for Pakistan to believe, at least, that a Taliban-controlled Afghanistan would be favorable to Pakistan. So they're certainly dragging their feet about fighting them.
I was struck when I went to my mailbox yesterday because the week I spoke to you in October, this was on newsstands.
Right.
Newsweek calling Pakistan more dangerous than Iraq, most dangerous place.
Right.
And then yesterday, The Economist calls it the world's most dangerous place. Now, back in October, you took umbrage with Newsweek saying it was overblown, the danger. Do you move on that at all from the last 2 months?
Well, I move maybe a little bit. I think it depends. We had this long discussion about what constitutes danger to whom. It's a great danger to itself. But there's still, the worst case scenario from my point of view is another military coup, which I think is perfectly possible. In which case, that's, the worries about the nuclear weapons subside. They won't be dealing with...
It's important to say why, though, because people fear the weapons and that a coup isn't good for that.
No, because the nuclear weapons have been from day one in the control of the military and not in control of even of the so-called elected prime ministers in the 1980s and 1990s.
And you trust the military?
They're an establishment operation, Musharraf is in that sense very representative of the current Pakistan military. They are not Islamists, they're not jihadi, they're not foaming at the mouth in any serious way. They are comfortable with the power they have, and letting the nuclear cat out of the bag would not help.
While we're talking U.S. intervention, there's some thinking that the U.S. is supporting a unpopular, untenable leader for too long, as they've done in that region in the past. Do you buy into that line of thinking?
Well, I think that's true. They have supported him, and they have turned a blind eye to these things because they've got larger fish to fry, they see. And so Musharraf has been a good ally for them. But that's running out. And they don't know exactly where Musharraf is going to be. So they're assuming that if Musharraf goes, the next in line is someone who's even more pro-American, more willing to work. People know him, they can work with him, et cetera, General Kayani.
The U.S. government assumes that.
Yes. So
why is there this impression that the U.S. is supporting Musharraf, doing what they can to prop him up?
Yeah, because they don't want another dictatorship. They don't want another naked military dictatorship. That's not a good solution for them. Musharraf seems to be, he's the devil and we might as well keep him. The more I've looked at it, probably in October, I thought of Pakistan moving towards a sort of a Turkey kind of a system, where the military moves slowly back into the background, but nonetheless keeps its ultimate control over where the political system is. As things have emerged, it looks to me more that Pakistan is going to be like Egypt, where in Egypt, we've been giving tens of billions of dollars in arms aid and economic aid and pushing Mubarak to democratize. And how much democratization has there been in Egypt? Virtually nothing, right? And that's been going on for 25 years. Yeah. I don't see any reason why Musharraf couldn't play a Mubarak-style game in Pakistan and just keep the support going, as long as he doesn't do anything really egregious. He'll be okay.
Is either ignoring or tinkering with the election in February egregious?
He might postpone the election if he thinks he's going to lose, which is walking the line again. Rigging, the way it's been done, is there's never going to be a smoking gun.
No problem.
No problem.
Rig it.
Rig it. That's right. And I think that's what he's planning to do.
So I think what I'm hearing is, if by hook or by crook Musharraf's party is able to squeak out either a win or a coalition out of the February elections, the ball moves down the road. If not, the rubber meets the road,
Right.
and whatever is going to happen is going to happen then.
Yeah, yeah, and it's, I mean, there are a lot of ifs about this. For example, internationally, one of the ways in which we know that elections have been rigged is by having masses of volunteers doing what are called quick counts or parallel counts, go to all the polling stations, find out what the voting was at that one, transmit that data. And in the case of the Philippines in '85, there were literally hundreds of thousands of people doing this. Now, if in some magical way, the Pakistan civil society could develop some sort of monitoring expertise and effort in the next month, that would change things.
Are you becoming more optimistic or pessimistic or concerned, or?
I'm much more pessimistic. At one point, I had a reasonable degree of optimism that maybe Musharraf might consider the interests of the country as a whole and gracefully step back and allow the judicial system to reconstitute itself and use that as an excuse to move out and let the country shift at least towards a more democratic system. I think that's not going to happen anymore. He's not clearly, he doesn't think that that's going to work, and he doesn't want to leave power. So that makes me much more pessimistic, because I think there'll be a lot more bloodshed before he does leave power, if ever. I mean, if ever in the near term.